What's up guys, Theo here and welcome back to the It Factor MMA. Just making this video after UFC 299 just wrapped up. It was an awesome card and we did pretty well on the bets, so I'm going to go over it. I'm not going to talk about every single fight and every single outcome, but I'm going to touch on most of them, some of the more significant ones, if we had action on it, etc. So let's just get started, guys. So right off the bat, Joanne Wood managed to score a win against Marina Moroz, a split decision. This wasn't one that I bet on, but I did pick Joanne Wood as an underdog in this fight, and it paid. It ended up panning out my way. You know, it was a very close fight, but I did have a feeling that based on the fact that we've kind of seen Joanne Wood improve, and we kind of had not really seen Marina Moroz improve very much, I did think that that line was good enough, plus 180. I thought it was pretty good. Kind of wish I had bet on it, but then again, I just probably would have been sweating that bet if I had made it. And to be honest with you, it was more of a bet against Marina Moroz than it was a bet on Joanne Wood. I'd like to say I knew Joanne Wood was going to go in there and smoke her, but I just had a feeling that Marina Moroz probably wasn't going to show up the way that she has in the past. So we started out the night good with the first underdog pick. I'm pretty sure that probably killed a lot of people's parlays. But then next, guys, Robelis to Spain. We had the debut of the Olympic bronze medalist Taekwondo guy, and he did exactly what everybody thought he was going to do, man. He went out there and he knocked out Josh Parisian in the first round in fantastic fashion. Couple things I noticed about this guy. Man, his movement on the feet, his striking, for a guy that big, a dude when he has his hands out, I mean, he had his arms spread out, and it was like he was filling up the entire octagon. I've never seen a guy that big in there. He's absolutely gigantic, and he moves like he's a few weight classes lower. I've never seen a heavyweight that moves like him, that has the head movement, the backwards movement, the gliding footwork. I mean, the guy looked incredible, and he actually got hit clean by Parisian while Parisian was going forward towards him, and he was backing up. And he ate Parisian's shot just dead on the chin, and he didn't even blink, and he fired back and knocked out Parisian in brutal fashion. So that debut could not have gone better for him, and I can't fucking wait to see what they do with this guy. I mean, we got to find a way to get this guy up against Alex Pereira. We just got to. That's a fight we got to see, guys. So awesome fucking debut from the freak of nature, Robelis to Spain, and we did pick him to win here. Not an impressive pick by any means, but it's cool that we picked correctly what would happen there, because I do like fading guys that are coming into the UFC for the first time. All right, moving on. The first underdog pick we made that lost, Mikhail OLEKSIEJCZUK, got dominated by Michel Pereira. I really did not expect that to happen. Pereira looked way faster, way stronger, way more game than he ever has in his life. And OLEKSIEJCZUK just couldn't hang in there, man, and just ended up getting submitted. And yeah, it was a bad pick on my part. I'm glad that I did not bet on Mikhail. I almost did, but I decided not to in the end. Yeah, man, I think Michel Pereira is roided to the gills, man. Just recently, we've been seeing a lot of this, like with Merab and Michel, but I mean, sometimes you just see a performance like that, and your mind just immediately goes, performance enhancer. I mean, how strong he was, how game he was. He had like Dagestani wrestling strength out of nowhere. He has never been a wrestler. He's always been a striker, and he's been an unreliable one at that. So maybe he just looked good up at a weight class, but that was a freak performance by him, and I think he is a bit of an outlier at this point in his career. And he's on the sauce. Come on, the guy's on every fucking steroid imaginable. So whatever. Glad we didn't bet on that. Not a bad pick, in my opinion. Well, kind of a bad pick, but glad we didn't bet on it. Anyway, moving on, guys. We had our first bet of the night cash with GAMROT. We had 4 units out on him at minus 265. By the time the fight rolled around, he was a minus 460, which is what I predicted would happen. I predicted the line would move and he would become a 500 favorite, and that's pretty much what happened. It was, this was a tense fight, man, but ultimately GAMROT was able to outstrike RDA, and he was able to completely dominate him on the ground with chain wrestling, neutralize all of his attacks. and just ultimately looked very good. A lot of people really hate Gamrot, and Daniel Cormier was talking shit about him. In fact, you could really tell RDA was supposed to be the A side in this fight because the commentators just were like not saying anything. I mean, Gamrot was like getting these perfect takedowns, and like in 2 and 3, he was literally piecing RDA up with shots, and they were dead silent. They weren't saying a single thing. So what I take away from this is that I think the UFC wants Gamrot to lose really fucking badly. So I think they're going to give him a terrible matchup for his next fight. Because, I mean, I've never seen a fight where a dude was winning so clearly, and the commentators were sitting there going, "Oh, he's not doing anything. He's RDA's about to come back and win this." And yeah, I don't know why. It seems like everyone was taking crazy pills on this card. I thought that was a clear win for Gamrot. That's why I bet 4 units on him at that price. And yeah, that was our first win of the night. We were up units on that right from the get-go. So moving on, Jailton Almeida, oh man, got fraud checked so fucking badly. He was winning the fight and was grappling in very impressive fashion. Managed to pick Curtis Blades up clean and dump him, and eventually just shot in. And it looked like he just decided to, I don't know, man. I don't know if he was tired from trying to grapple and picking up this big guy, but he shot in from very far away, and Curtis stuffed the takedown and just slammed him in the head a couple times, and the ref stopped it. I mean, it was so weird. It was like Johnson just said, fuck it, I'm not going to defend these strikes to the fucking side of my head for some reason. I don't know what the hell happened there, but it looked like Jailton just quit after. I mean, maybe he expended too much energy and just didn't have anything left in the tank and just got TKO'd, but yeah, that was a bad loss for Jailton Almeida. I kind of had a feeling at the beginning of the week that Curtis Blades was going to win, but ultimately, after hearing a couple opinions from people I trust, I was talked out of it. But hey, I'm not going to sit here and try to claim credit for a pick that I did not make. So, yeah, congrats to Curtis Blades. That was a great win. I really underestimated him here. Then, guys, the next thing I want to talk about, Peter Yan finally got a win here. A lot of people were counting Yan out here. I think Song Yadong was basically one of the most popular picks on the entire card. And guys, I've made a lot of money betting against Song Yadong because no other fighter do people consistently overrate so much as Song Yadong. Every single time he fights, people are like, this guy's one fight away from a title. He's going to win the title one day. And he keeps getting sent back by these guys that are just higher level than him. He's very good, very athletic, but he's one of these guys that Song is just consistently overrated. And I have a feeling in maybe 2 years, I think we're going to see the same exact situation play out again. I think we're going to see Song Yadong fight for somebody that would set him up for a title shot, and he's going to get turned back around because it's already happened before. I talked about this in the prediction video that I made. It's just this same exact scenario happened with Corey Sandhagen. Everyone was picking him against Corey Sandhagen, he got turned around. Everyone was picking him against Peter Yan, he got turned around. So, like I said in my prediction video, a lot of Peter Yan's losses have big asterisks next to them. Sometimes people can't really see through that. Sometimes people just, like, whatever happens on paper, if it's a W or it's an L, that just completely controls what they think. And, you know, hindsight is 20/20, and, you know, you live and die by your record in this game. But, you know, if you have an eye and you can watch these fights and see that this guy is skilled and he's losing, like, these fluke fights against Aljamain Sterling, I mean, why would you not pick him here against Song Yadong? He's older, he's more experienced, he's more technical. I mean, he had every way to win this fight. So I was surprised that so many people were on Song Yadong. But I'm glad I picked John. I'm glad I was on the right side. Wish I had pulled the trigger on betting him because there was a good price on him earlier this week. But hey, whatever. We can't hit every single bet on these cards. So next up, oh man, this one hurt. Gilbert Burns ended up taking a loss against JDM and got finished in the 3rd round. I was feeling really smart about this pick up until the 3rd round, guys. I took a ton of shit for this in the YouTube comment section. People talking about, I don't know what I'm talking about. And, guys, the reality is Gilbert Burns was on his way to winning that fight. 1 more minute or 2 more minutes, and Gilbert Burns would have walked away the winner there, and I would have cashed out too. So that was a good pick, or a good bet, bad pick. I'm not going to let anyone tell me that wasn't a good bet, because JDM has been like seconds away from getting finished in several of his fights so far. And to be honest with you, I'm going to keep betting against JDM because I just don't think he's as good as everyone else thinks he is. And I'm really surprised he managed to pull this win out. I thought that Gilbert Burns would be able to eat anything that he threw. And Gilbert Burns was winning that fight, both rounds until that knockout. And he was winning the third round as well. So about 2 more minutes and JDM would have been done there. And all that hype would have been gone. And he got lucky and managed to land a knee. So yeah, I'm not super impressed with that win from JDM. I am a little bit salty because my bet went through. But again, I think it was a very good bet because look at how the fight played out. Gilbert Burns was winning until he wasn't. So then on to the next, we got MVP. I did make a 0.25 unit bet on him that did cash. Initially, I was on Kevin Holland, but after going back and watching the fight against Stephen Thompson, which is what I said in my prediction video, I said I just don't think that Kevin Holland is going to capitalize on the advantages he has here, and I think MVP's slightly better striker, so the energy carried through, man, and I had a good feeling about MVP once I kind of watched that fight. He looked really good. He just brought all the energy, brought all the entertainment, and man, he pieced Kevin Hall up. He landed like 3 spinning back elbows. I mean, he looked crazy. And to be honest with you, I've been an MVP doubter for most of the time I've been watching MMA. I never really thought he would have success in the UFC, and he's proved me wrong, man. And I'm glad that I picked him to win here. I'm glad I have him in my Bet MMA tips because I really enjoyed that fight. I thought it was a great fight, and I just really enjoyed the guy. He's very entertaining, so I can't wait to see what they do with him next. This was great matchmaking by the UFC. They really knew what they were doing here, giving Kevin Holland, because he's the one dude that he probably could beat. There's a lot of other dudes at that weight class in the UFC that probably would beat MVP, but we will see what happens with him in the future. Congrats to him on that win there, and congrats on a great UFC debut. Then on to the next one. This is the one I was really excited to talk about, guys. Dustin Poirier knocking out Benoit Saint-Denis with the fraud check. I've been saying forever, BSD is a fraud. Yes, he's crashed a bunch of my bets, but I knew eventually I was going to get my money back on him. And, man, look, so I track what other cappers picks, what they make, and I just want to pull up here a sheet that I have. I don't have it on the screen or anything, but I made a list of everyone that I follow, all the sharpest cappers. And let me just read out for you all the people here that picked Benoit Saint-Denis. And, I mean, everybody was on Benoit Saint-Denis in this fight. Let me read this out for you. I'm going to read you a list of people that picked Benoit Saint-Denis here. Lucrative MMA, Brandon Olivas, and Santino DeFranco, who run the Santino DeFranco podcast and are martial artists and trained UFC fighters. Andrew Gombas and Magic M, both of whom are whales, and they both live and bet UFC, and they make thousands of dollars a year doing it. I put all my picks out for free. CJ Safdie was on BSD. We Want Picks, both of them, Jacob and Angelo, were on BSD. John Kelly DFS was on BSD. Clint from the Die Hard MMA podcast was on BSD. The only person that I followed that I was looking for that picked Dustin Poirier was the Weasel, who usually doesn't even have great picks. So, guys, I'm not trying to talk shit. I love all of those guys, and I mention them because I think they are the best handicappers in MMA. But I will say, I got clowned a lot for this pick, and I mean, I heard every single one of these guys saying that this was the most confident pick on this card. I did not hear anybody giving Poirier any chance here, and I still picked him, and I put him in my Bet MMA tips. Guys, all of these dudes are making hundreds of dollars off of their betting sites, Discords. I'm putting all of my bets on YouTube for free. I put all of my bets on Bet MMA tips for free. I don't charge for anything, and I'm out here hitting dogs that these guys that are charging you thousands of dollars, and some of them are rich off of doing this. None of them are getting these picks. So if you want underdog picks that you're not going to get anywhere else, no matter if you pay for them, come to the It Factor MMA, watch my channel, go to my Bet MMA tips, and you'll get reads you're just not going to get anywhere else, guys, because I don't give a fuck. I have a job. I'm not trying to get rich doing this, okay? I don't need to do this. I do this for fun, and I do this because I'm good at it, and because maybe one day I can turn it into something. But right now, I just like being right, and I like making videos, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. So, yeah, come check out my channel, It Factor MMA. I got underdogs on here nobody else has, and Dustin Poirier is one of those. And so then we're going to wrap it up, guys. Going to talk about Sean O'Malley here. Dominant performance from him. God, Sean O'Malley striking is so insane, man. His straights are just lasers. They go fucking from miles away. They go straight down the pipe. And his kicks, his combinations, everything looked really great in this fight. I don't know how Cheeto ate that knee. That knee sounded like a fucking explosion hitting him, and he just ate it and didn't even blink. So Cheeto is one of the toughest motherfuckers in all the UFC. He might be the toughest bantamweight. Gritty guy with an edge. I think there was the smell of an upset in the air here. And you know what, guys? Another thing I noticed about that, most everybody, except for Lucrative, was on Cheeto here. I mean, a couple other people were on O'Malley, but for the most part, Cheeto was a very, very popular underdog pick this week. And, I don't know, guys. I kind of felt like there was the smell of an upset too, but ultimately I ended up picking Sean because I just could not picture Sean doing a worse job than Corey Sandhagen on the feet, and Cheeto dropped it to Corey Sandhagen. So he is very tough, but he just didn't put up enough offense in this fight, and ultimately Sean went to a decision, man. He was not able to finish Cheeto here, but you know what? I think he literally gave it every single thing he has. I do not believe that he was not trying to finish that fight every single time. So congrats to Sean O'Malley on a dominant performance and his first title defense win. And congrats to Cheeto for not getting finished. But, yeah, we did very good, man. We went 10 for 13 on picks. We hit 2 underdogs. We hit a large favorite. We hit an underdog we didn't bet on. So this was a great card for us, man. And, guys, I'm profitable on 7 out of the last 8 events that I have bet on. In my Bet MMA tips, you go look at it. I've made money on the last 7 out of the last 8 events. So we're killing it, guys. I'm going to keep it going. The next bet I got in there is I got some bets on 300. I got a bet on Bo Nickel, and I got some bets on later on down. I got a bet on Peyton Talbot, 2.5 units plus 100. I feel really great about that one. Probably not going to have many bets on the next card just because there is so much more I like coming up. And next card is kind of whack, to be honest. But, hey, I'm going to be putting out videos. I'm going to be looking for underdogs, guys. If I do like something, I'll throw it in the Bet MMA tips. Keep it locked in, guys.